All right. Couple announcements. Monday, April 8th, solar eclipse day.
Oh
Make sure
yeah.
you got your glasses for that so you can stare at the sun safely. Don't
Yeah,
you
it's
have
not
some you have some
happening
nice ones, right?
here. No, I have the ones from the 2017 one,
Oh,
but
okay.
those things are so degraded. It's
Oh,
actually safe. But there's basically no eclipse here. It's just gonna be a totally normal day.
really? It's not even like a
So,
partial?
I mean, it's partial. I think everywhere it's partial, but like
Yeah.
I was looking on the totality map and stuff, and you're 85.5%. Um, that's gonna be pretty significant. But here it's like 50. It's like
It could still be cool. You might get some cool
I don't know. I mean,
pictures.
it's
No?
it's less than the Ring of Fire even, and that wasn't really much at all. That was just a
Yeah.
totally just that was more interesting, like how it scattered the shadows and stuff. That was actually
Yeah.
what the interesting part. I was looking at the ground the whole time. Um, actually, this is our six month anniversary episode as well.
Oh, yeah.
Um, we've been doing this for 6 months now, and I think it's oddly, in a weird way, I think it's changed me, Kevin. I feel like a different man than I was 6 months ago. I don't know if for the better or worse or what, but I just feel like pretending to be a podcaster has changed me. Doing an impression of what a podcaster does has changed me.
We've been going steady 6 months with this podcast.
I think it's starting to get serious too. All right, I'm gonna try and bring the heat this week. I felt like I didn't really do a good job last week, but hey, maximum effort, dude. Um, yeah, so the eclipse, that is exciting for most of the country. I was supposed to be in Austin right now, so I'm a little bummed that that didn't work out because then again, I would have been living there. So maybe it's meant to be that plane didn't happen. But yeah, that's totally in the path of totality. I'm
Yeah. I wish I
jealous.
could take off work and drive to it, but like
Mm,
into the path, but yeah. Marley has
it's
school. I have work.
it's
Jesse has work.
expensive. There's like price gouging for the eclipse, like
Yeah.
hotels and airlines and stuff. They're taking advantage of this. It's supposed to actually be a huge boom for the economy, the eclipse. I think that's pretty interesting. I saw some figure that it was like it's gonna like $6 billion somehow. I
Oh
was like,
wow.
what is that? Just like eclipse related travel? Like, is that all it is? I don't know. Pretty interesting. But yeah, normal day in Denver.
Okay. Well, we last week we pulled out video games as a topic. Figured we could start with that. Yep. From
Yeah,
the
let's do it, man.
Guy Fieri trash can. Nacho trash can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can't legally call this thing a bucket because it doesn't have a thing, but it is a nice prop and tool for this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, video games, dude. I thought about it a lot in the past week. Um, I thought about like the early days, and then I went all the way to present day. What I was always more into portable like systems. That was sort of my bread and butter. It's like the Game Boy and
Hmm.
the what else? I mean, I've had all the Nintendo portable stuff, I guess, but I also had like the PS Vita. Was it or PSP
I never
Vita?
had
I
that, but
took
yeah, there's PSP was the first
there's
one, PS Vita.
I had that,
Yeah.
and then I had the second one too,
Well, let's start
as
from the
well.
beginning. What was your first console as a kid?
It was well, I mean, the house I grew up in, my dad had an Atari, but
Oh,
my first one was the Nintendo Entertainment System,
yeah. I
the
had that
classic
too.
one. Yeah,
Yeah. Super
I got it
Mario,
for.
Duck Hunt.
How old are you in kindergarten? You're a parent, so you probably
Kindergarten,
knows
you're 6, 7,
6.
usually
Yeah,
6. Yeah.
I think it was my sixth birthday. I got a Nintendo.
Did you
It's
have
pretty rad.
a Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo after that?
Super Nintendo after that. Actually,
I
the way I got the Super Nintendo 2 is a pretty sweet little story.
Oh,
I'll
really?
do it quickly. I was visiting my grandfather and grandpa, and he gave me a Super Nintendo game. Like as I was saying goodbye, he's like, "Here, I just wanted to give you a gift, say goodbye." And I was like, "That's really sweet," but that was so weird. It's like a ghost just did something. I
Oh,
had these
I heard
drumsticks here, and they
I
just
heard your
rolled
mic
off
pick.
the
Oh,
table.
okay. I
That
thought your
was
mic was
that
sliding
was
on the table.
that was so strange. It was literally like a ghost, man. Except I don't believe in that kind of nonsense. Anyway, so my grandpa gives me a Super Nintendo game, a couple of them. He gave me also they had a Super Game Boy for the. Did you ever had that for Super
No,
Nintendo?
Super Game
It was
Boy.
like a cartridge that you put the Game Boy into the thing, and then you could play it on Super Nintendo. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So here's the
But
thing. I
he
didn't
gave me
own a Super Nintendo. I wanted one,
yeah,
but I didn't have one. Yeah. We had the Sega Genesis after the NES. We like jump shipped And
Yeah, I got a Genesis way later, and I got it more for like just curiosity. It was like $10 at a garage sale, and I was like, I never had this thing.
yeah,
Um,
Sonic was fun on it. There was a Lion King game I liked too on that as a kid.
is that the one that's like notoriously like one of the most difficult,
It's very
impossible
challenging,
games?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
a
remember a
level
lot
with
of
an
those.
ostrich that you're like jumping on
Mhm.
their heads and
Right.
swinging with monkeys on a tree. And you're
Yeah.
playing Simba, but
Yeah. The Aladdin game also I remember was like notoriously difficult. They were
yeah,
just so small, short games that they had to make them, intentionally hard, so you didn't just go to Blockbuster and beat it in a day, or a weekend or
right.
whatever. Um, yeah, the Game Boy, that was a pretty big deal. I mean, that memory is so fresh in my mind, getting the Game Boy for Christmas, and then like um, playing Pokemon Red and Blue when I was like 10
Hmm.
on that thing. Back when I didn't know that turn-based games are lame, I was too stupid to know the difference. But that was a good time. Um, a good
I
time, dude.
remember when those were popular. I never got it. I saw people,
Yeah,
playing those, and I didn't understand. I'm like, why are there all these different colors? I heard it's the same
yeah.
game. It's just different Pokemon in them, I guess.
I played Red and Blue, and I think it was just something about like the chances of finding certain ones. But they said you had to play both to collect them all. I don't know if that's even true. I don't remember exactly, but
Yeah,
that
that's
was a
interesting.
good time. Um, and I loved the Game Boy. I have all these like things now, like that the analog pocket, which is like an
Yeah,
emulator for all that. And I just don't really play it anymore. It's sort of just there like to remind me of a better time, but I just don't
yeah.
really play it.
I had
Um,
the Virtual Boy also.
yeah,
I got it when I guess when it bombed. Toys R Us started like selling them for dirt cheap. I think I only spent
yeah.
like $30 on it. When they first came out, they were like over, I think more than $150 or something.
Yeah, I had a rich friend who had one. I thought it was like so cool, but really it wasn't that cool.
It wasn't, no.
No.
It gave you like a sore neck because you had to like shove your head into this little like VR headset, but it wouldn't
Right.
strap to your head. So you're just constantly like
Right.
playing with the
Yeah.
controller, sticking your head. I don't know.
Pretty silly.
I used to lay the Virtual Boy like on my bed, and I would just have it on my stomach, and I just play it like this.
That's kind of sad. Like the visual that it's
Yeah, it was pretty
um
lame.
I wonder if like those on eBay, like how much those are going for nowadays.
I'm sure they're probably worth a lot now. People collect that stuff.
Nintendo, that's what I've always liked about Nintendo is they take big swings, they just do wacky stuff. Like
Yeah,
um for the Switch they had that Labo, I don't know how to say it, that thing, and they had like a
yeah.
kind of a virtual boy type thing that you could put your Switch in.
It was like a
Um
cardboard thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it's
just
like Google
they had all
Cardboard
this.
meets Nintendo.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff they come up with. Um, but yeah, I've always been a Nintendo guy. But what's so okay, Nintendo Genesis, then what's coming up next? Dreamcast, I guess for me. It was
Nintendo
probably the next one.
64 for me after the
Oh yeah,
Sega and 64. I would actually put that as my favorite childhood console. I
yeah.
love playing Mario Kart 64, Star Fox. That was the first game I played that had a Rumble Pack feature in it, and that like
Oh
blew
right.
blew me away. I was like, this is awesome. Banjo
I
Kazooie,
think
that was a really fun platformer
1080
puzzle game.
snowboarding
Oh,
was
1080 was
one
good
of
too. Yeah.
that was the first game I got, and I just played it like for days, like without stopping obsessively.
So
And
you
then
had an N64 too, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
I sold like the my old Nintendo and the Super Nintendo and then just a bunch of games to like
Hmm.
what is it called? Not EB? Was it EB? Is that a
Electronic
video game
Boutique or
store?
something like that. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
it. Yeah. In the mall, I sold all that stuff for store credit and I had just enough to get a used N64. And then 1080 snowboarding and San Francisco Rush 2049. I love that game, dude.
Hmm.
The physics in that I think were ahead of its time. Like really.
Yeah.
Going into like the stunt course, which was like a secret mode, and then just messing with like the cheat codes to like make like moon gravity and stuff.
Hmm.
Dude, I would do that for hours. It was so fun. It's one of those things I'd like to revisit, but I know it won't be the same. I don't want to tarnish those memories. Did you ever play a Dreamcast? Did
Yes,
you?
I had a Dreamcast for a little bit. Crazy Taxi,
Crazy Taxi was awesome.
yeah. I've House of
Great
the Dead. They had
graphics.
those arcade games for it, which were fun.
I thought the Dreamcast was a pretty cool system. I don't know why it gets kind of like roasted a lot in video game culture. I guess maybe because it didn't have enough titles, possibly, or the
Yeah, maybe.
cost or something. I thought the graphics looked amazing though. Like it was a
Oh
huge
yeah,
jump for me.
yeah. Compared to PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64, it was a big jump. I actually
They
bought
all.
a game recently for PC that similar to House of the Dead. It's the Typing of the Dead.
What
It's like
is
a
that?
typing game where it's basically House
Okay,
of the Dead, and like words come up, and like in order to shoot the zombies, you spell out the words and you have to type it fast.
that's
Um,
clever.
yeah, I thought it was fun.
The game that I loved on Dreamcast was Shenmue.
Oh
Shenmue
yeah,
was
I remember
awesome.
that.
The Yeah, it was like it felt so open world, but like it felt like you could do anything. I went to an
Right.
arcade as in Shenmue and just played another game in the game. And then I got a job as a forklift driver. It's like a total waste of time. But I really liked it at the time. I would love if they made that into like a Netflix show. I
Yeah.
could see that being cool.
Well, they
Um,
remade. I think they made a sequel to it, like
yeah,
more recently.
they made it a part. Yeah, they made a part three just very recently, but it's like it was maybe intentionally sort of was matching the visual style of the old ones, but it was just like, oh, this is not keeping up with like
Yeah.
A-list games. It just looked like I was like, oh, it's I don't know. I didn't even bother with it. But it's like yeah, like I said, revisiting these things usually it doesn't feel the
They
same.
don't usually hold up well. Yeah. What'd you have
What comes
after
next?
Dreamcast?
Yeah,
I
I'm
had
trying
a
to
GameCube after that.
I didn't have the GameCube. Um
There were some cool games on the GameCube. They had what was it? Extreme G3. I don't know
mm,
where the first two went. Like maybe I just remembered the Extreme G, the third one, and it was cool because like you'd go super fast and at some speed, whatever the sound barrier is, like the volume would cut out and it would start like it was just really fun. Like when you're going really
yeah.
fast with it. It was like it was a futuristic racing game basically.
Was it like motorcycle looking things?
Yeah,
I think I played it.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I actually downloaded a well off the record, even though this is going on the internet. Nintendo's gonna do a takedown request. I may have seen or acquired an emulator for it, and it's a lot of fun.
Just say allegedly at the end. You know? Um, yeah, Extreme G. I think maybe the reason I think it's kind of a generic name. Like for a franchise, I'm like Extreme G. I just can't place the memory of what that looks like and feels like. But as you describe it, I'm like I definitely did play that.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a very early game for the GameCube, so I know
right.
there was other bigger Zelda games that came out for it, and
So
later
I
in
think
the console's life.
we're at a point now. I'm guessing where our paths are going to diverge because I'm thinking you went Xbox and I went
I
PlayStation
did,
at this
yeah,
point. Yeah,
yep.
that was my journey. And that was your journey. You know,
Hmm.
we had to be men and just take these risks. um, yeah, I was just wasn't in a Microsoft household. My dad was like very against that, so he's like, you could play PlayStation, um, which I loved. I had so many good PlayStation memories.
PS2,
Um,
is that what?
I think I started with PS2 actually. I
Yeah,
don't
because
remember having
we would have
the
gone
first
through
one.
PS1 era by now. That
Yeah,
was
I think I started with PS2 and then I was playing like the Lord of the Rings games were really cool. Like
yeah.
those were awesome. There was a Harry Potter game it was the Chamber of Secrets one on PS2 which was pretty fucking cool. Man, there was a lot of stuff back then. Um
I did play Eddie's PS2. Eddie had a PS2
yeah,
when I yeah, he had Vice City. I ended up getting it on the Xbox after playing it with him. And then all
those
of my
GTA
friends got into
games.
Halo and everyone bought an Xbox, so we would system link those
Mm,
together.
yeah, I missed that whole thing. Um Dude, this is a well. No, let's keep going in line. Then I'll talk about something else. Um, What's next? I guess that's kind of it, really, because then it's just I'm up to PlayStation 5 now.
Yeah. I mean,
I
there was a
mean,
360, but that we were that was around the same time I think, we were living in Nashville. I
yeah.
think we played Halo 3 together and there's some other games.
Hmm.
A little bit. I don't think we played very often.
Yeah, I don't have that memory, so I'm guessing it might have happened a few times, and I just was like probably just going through the motions. I do remember some other game you had that was like
Was
it
it
was some
porn?
kind of a zombie game
Oh.
that had, like they were like fast moving zombies, and it was like kind of
Oh, Left 4
intense.
Dead. Yep. Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I played that in your room. I remember that one.
Yeah. That was a fun game.
Yeah, right now I would say like the in the PlayStation era, like the games that I did enjoy the most, play Hogwarts Legacy. That was a peak, of video game fun in the modern day for me. And Rocket League, it's kind of it.
Yeah.
Uh,
You've had some good times with Warzone too.
oh, dude, I definitely. I mean, I think it kept me going through the early days of the
Pandemic.
pandemic for
Yeah.
sure. It's just I don't know. I feel like I've gotten worse, and I'm always
I
just holding
mean,
my team back.
none of us are very good at it for especially for how long we
It,
played it. We've been playing it since I think the end of 2019 is when we started playing it. Or it could have been
really?
or maybe it was 2020. I don't
Hmm.
know. I think I had it in 2019.
I definitely remember starting it in like kind of like I would say March or April
Yeah, I
2020
guess
for
it would have been
sure.
2020. Yeah.
That time for me is when I was like getting very obsessed with it. I mean, I remember one time where I just got my whiteboard and I set it on the ground on the floor and I just drew out the whole map of Verdansk.
Yeah,
Is it
because you were
Verdansk?
trying to figure out all the secret
The the
Easter egg stuff.
bunkers
Yeah,
and
the
the Easter
bunkers.
eggs, and also just like making strategies of how like because at that time I used to like to steal every single helicopter and blow them all up, so I had only the only helicopter.
Yeah.
So I was making all these weird. I was playing like games within games, dude. Bunker warfare though, great times. I'd actually get into some Rebirth Island right now. I'm in the mood, but I'm so terrible at it. Last Wednesday when we played, I didn't kill a single person.
Really?
It's not one, dude. I didn't get a single confirmed kill. I died a lot though.
It maybe it's something with the controller. I feel like playing with a controller on
Mhm.
shooters. Like maybe it's because I've been playing on PC for the last couple of years now. It's so hard
Yeah,
to go back to it. Like I can really only use a controller for Rocket League and like a racing
right.
game, but like being able to look around with the mouse makes it so much it makes it way more precise.
I think I would have a hard time getting used to that because I haven't played a game on a computer in over 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just not in that like kind of like muscle memory. I don't think I have that anymore. Um, I think I just, I don't play enough to like be competitive, right? And everyone else is like we're playing against is like they're investing real American dollars into their
Oh,
characters and
yeah.
the guns and stuff. The pay for play thing, the cheaters, the people that just take it very serious, all those reasons are why I'm at the level I'm at. But
Hey, I'm pretty mediocre, I feel like, even with a mouse and keyboard, but we
yeah.
did win that one game. Me and you were the last
Oh
people
yeah,
alive. We won
yeah.
the last Warzone Wednesday. Got first
I
place.
forget what my superlative was, but it was totally
It was a
made up.
Chumbawamba. I get it was like
Yeah,
get knocked down, get back up again, or something like
yeah.
that. It wasn't. They didn't say Chumbawamba, but they should have.
I know that's funnier. Yeah, they should all the superlatives should be like 90s one-hit wonders. I think we've kind of thoroughly covered video
Yeah, I
games.
think we can
I
move
think at
to.
this point anyone who doesn't care has already turned this off. They're
Yeah.
watching something else. Um, actually I was gonna say Sea of Thieves, it's like cross-platform now. It's coming to
Mhm.
like PlayStation soon.
Yeah.
And it's like the biggest preset or pre-order or whatever in like a long time, like the
Wow.
amount of copies. So I'm thinking there might be a path to bring back the arena if they have a big active user base, right?
Yeah.
I would love that. But also I'm just gonna play it again for fun because it was
No, I would love to queue that game up again. That was fun. It's nice to
the
not have
sea
to like shoot people sometimes, or I guess you do shoot people with Sea of Thieves, but you don't have to be a
yeah.
crazy, Call of Duty player where they're sliding
It's
around.
so it's so hard to shoot in Sea of Thieves.
It is
It's
very
so
hard, yeah.
difficult.
But it's
Um,
fun doing the
but yeah,
cannonballs and throwing the what
yeah, I
they have
like
those little
just doing
fire things that you can throw too. I forget what they're called though.
um like the Molotov cocktail
Yeah,
things.
they
I
had
don't
a
know what they
name
call
for
them in
it.
that game.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
like it's like a big like bowl looking thing that
right,
you throw, like a lantern
right.
type. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play that when it comes back. That other game, the Skull and Bones game, that was I think it'd been in development forever. I don't know if it is out or what. It doesn't look as cool to me. It looks a little bit
Yeah,
busy.
I played it and it's not. I don't know if you're playing with your friends. I feel like it's more fun to like be
Mhm.
in the same ship together. Like everyone has their
Mhm.
own ship in that game. You're like controlling the ship
Oh.
from a third person, and you're
Mhm.
shooting. So if you want to play by yourself, that game would probably be pretty good to do. But if you want to play with friends, I think Sea of Thieves is going to be the better choice.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get it when it comes back. I don't know when that's
It's
happening,
this
but
month, I
I think
think.
it's
Yeah.
is it?
hmm
That's cool. Um, you know what I finally did? This is off the topic of games, but into the media department area. I finally finished For All Mankind season
Oh,
4.
what'd you think?
I finally did. I thought it was the weakest season yet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't actually be. I want them to come back and do a fifth and final season. I think there is, obviously some ways to wrap it up better. Um,
I was really
but
hoping they
no, I
were
don't.
gonna like find life on Mars, like as one of the big things. They
Yeah.
didn't do that though.
Well, that's what I've always kind of thought would be where the show goes, is that we go to a point where we do find something else mysterious, and then that's how it ends. Like, okay, there's all kinds of mysteries, and I don't know, something. There was some things about the newest season that I didn't care for. Maybe it's a lot of the new cast. It's the biggest cast so far. Usually we have these very compartmentalized, because it's been small, like building Happy Valley and all these things. It's been small teams, and now there's all these new people that I'm supposed to care about, and I don't.
It is hard to
And it,
keep track of shows that have like so many characters in it. It's like,
yeah,
who am I watching? What is their name?
I can't tell you anyone's name except for like the original people,
Yeah.
like Ed Baldwin, Danielle Poole, and that's it. Margot, what's her name?
Yeah.
Uh, no, I still love the show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, but I did think it was a pretty weak season. And that wasn't really what took me so long to like finish it. It's just more my own focus issues.
Yeah.
But that plus, I was just like, this is so predictable. I know what's happening, and then it happened. It was like no twists, no nothing. Um, it does seem like they should do a fifth and final season. I know they said they're going to do 7. Ronald D. Moore, the guy that created it, he said I mapped out 7 years of this thing.
But right now they
So
haven't been like greenlit for another season, right? It's still kind
nothing
of up in the
official
air.
yet. Nothing official. It sort of ended in a way like Westworld did, where I was like, I know this isn't actually the ending that they intended on doing,
hmm
but it kind of works, kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
I need a new show now.
600 Pound Life.
I can't do those
I
kind of
know.
shows. Those make me want to kill myself, dude.
They
Um,
they make me feel better about myself.
I don't know. I,
And
I
when I
just
watch
I'm
them, I'm
set.
like, oh man, I have my life so much, put together compared to this person.
I guess that's a fun spin. I don't know. The reality shows in general just they bum me out.
Yeah,
It's,
no, they are. They're
except for Catfish. I do love watching Catfish. That's my one guilty pleasure.
yeah. I don't
That
think
may also
I
make me
haven't
feel
seen
like
that
I'm
one though.
killing it in life.
These weirdos
um,
that have relationships with people they've never met for years.
it's
Yeah,
so strange. Um, yeah, some of those stories, they're like, oh, I've been talking to this guy for 15 years. I met him on MySpace, and now I want to meet him in real. It's like, wow, that's fascinating. Hey, I don't know if you're gonna remember this. I had this fun idea on the podcast, probably way back. Like I would guess it's like season 1,
hmm
early days, back when we were good. No, I had this idea for merch for us. It was gonna be our first product, and it was a prosthetic sixth finger, so you could have plausible deniability in photos and say, oh, it's AI.
that's a good
Well,
idea.
someone made it. That's a
Wow.
product now. I saw it online. Um, I mean, I don't think that anyone's watching the show and ripping off our dumb ideas, but I kind of do feel like I'm owed some money for having my brilliant idea made into a real product. But now, hey, dude, it's fine. It's fine. People could steal our ideas. I'm totally kidding. No, but I do have a new idea for a product we can do. It's our far left lane clock. We're gonna make our first merch, and it'll be a clock because there's this like new initiative to make a lunar time zone. And I say, in like when you see like a trading room, like the commodities traders, they have like Beijing, San Francisco, Tokyo. They have all those clocks.
Yeah.
We need to have a moon-based clock now, which is going to be a thing in a couple years. And I think the deadline was 2026 that the Biden administration said they have to have this thing figured out.
Now, I wonder how that
Well,
would
then,
work though with the moon, because like it doesn't spin, right? It's tidally locked.
mm-hmm. From the white create a lunar times standard. A lunar time standard is what they said. Okay, so by 2026, and the time zone is going to be called. I don't know why they did it this way. It's LTC is lunar time zone, but for some reason that stands for coordinated lunar time. So like the time zone is designated the coordinated lunar time or LTC.
Okay.
I don't know. It's an odd way to do it, but hey, I'm not NASA. Um, that that brings us to another time-based story.
Yes. The climate
Uh,
change.
okay, so in a couple years we have to erase a second, just 1 second, because the way that I guess meltwater, polar ice caps melt, and the meltwater is all drawn to the equator and changes the spin of the Earth ever so slightly. There's actually a twist to this story as well, but that small, imperceivable difference is going to eventually make atomic clocks, the GPS system, which is a clock system, all these things, it'll make them late. So we got to erase a second,
Yeah,
and then we're going to call it a leap second.
a leap second. I've I was looking into this. Is it tr
Mm-hmm.
I heard that we've been doing something similar to this since the 70s. But I heard about climate change being a factor because yeah, like you said, the melting ice caps
The
and
melt water. That's what they call it.
yeah.
Um,
Because
so
the moon has been slowing the rotation of the Earth. Like
mhm.
it just the way it orbits, it always does that. But I guess it's going to speed up because of climate change. Because
Well,
it.
that's the other thing is because the CNN article that I sent you
Mhm.
that breaks this down, they kind of admit in the own article that it's really not climate change as much as it is the core of the Earth. So they say yes, meltwater being drawn to the equator is changing things, but
Yeah.
it's a lot more to do with the spinning of the core of the Earth, which I think they say has been slowing down and reversing. I don't understand, but that's
Yeah,
something
that's
we can
interesting.
change.
The CNN gave different reasons. I was reading a couple of different articles about it when you brought it up to me.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that's interesting. Um,
I thought this was interesting that the the person who was being interviewed in that article was this French woman who's in charge of the time department. I was like, that's a real thing. The time department at the International Bureau of Weights and Measures in France. So
oh,
she was the one. She was the one breaking this down in the CNN article. But I was like, that's an interesting department and job and business card. I want that business card. So what do? I work in the time department at the Bureau of Weights and Measures. That is kind of cool though to think like in this place it's probably like they have like the most accurate what a gram weighs, like a little thing that's
yeah.
like under lock and key, like this is the standardized gram.
I think it'd be cool if they had space time in the name. That would make it sound even better.
That would sound cooler. That also sounds like a show that I would watch. The space time department. um the Okay, so I guess that kind of covers our time-based stories, leap
Leap
seconds
seconds.
and lunar time. Um, Another thing, I put this on here because it's just I'm having deja vu about Boeing Starliner. Like it just gets pushed back like it's for 7 years it's been getting pushed back, but
Hmm.
now it's like they push it back. They're like, all right, we'll do it in a month, we promise. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna put it back by another week, another 5 days. It's like it just keeps going, and I don't really understand that. But yeah, it's delayed again. So
What's delayed?
The
Oh,
Boeing Starliner, yeah, it's delayed again. So we'll get to it someday, Kevin. But
Boeing's been
Boeing's
having
jerking us
so many
around.
issues. Yeah,
I know.
their
And if
planes, and if it's anything like the planes with their space shuttles, it's got to be I don't
Their
know.
CEO just like a couple of days after the whistleblower died, was murdered. The CEO got dropped. I was like, oh wow,
He
this
got
is a
dropped or did
shakeup.
he got murdered?
Oh, he got fired.
Okay.
He'll probably end up
He
dead.
got
But
fired for murdering the whistleblower.
I think he got fired for a ton of like mismanagement. But that was something where I was like, okay, something shady's going on here.
Yeah,
Um,
there's some that needs to be looked into.
yeah, someone needs
Like
to.
there should be an FBI investigation. Maybe there is. I don't know, but
There probably is. I think there's a ton of criminal stuff going on there. Um, the other stories. You bring something up, and then I'll think of something with a good segue.
um, I don't have anything.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Would
I knew
you?
you had so many things, so I was like, I'll just let Matt.
I just don't want to be obnoxious and overtalk. The new Europa report. Let's break this down quickly.
Okay.
This has been one of those spots that what is it? Jupiter's one of Jupiter's moons.
Yeah.
It's the one that they always said, oh, this is the most high likelihood that there's something living in those oceans, super
Right.
briny oceans. And just recently, I guess they did a new measure or something, and they said actually it's probably uninhabitable because like the oxygen level is on the low end of what we would be looking for something habitable. So the new Europa report is we don't know anything. We're wrong. But it did make me want to have a little bit of thought experiment about this. I kind of don't believe in any reality that we'll ever be able to communicate with something if we found something, like another life form.
Yeah.
I mean, the Arrival scenario. Have you seen the movie Arrival?
Yes.
I like that movie.
Yeah, that was
It's
with
just
what's her face from
Amy
Amy
Adams.
Adams. Yes. I was gonna
Yeah.
say her office character name from like
Oh
season two when she was
yeah.
in there
She was
for a brief period.
the like Jim's girlfriend for like a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Um I don't remember her character name. I'm pretty good with office trivia too. Uh she was the hot girl
Yep.
from episode 1-6. I don't remember her name at all. Anyway, yeah, so that movie I was just thinking about like the arrival scenario and I'm like I don't know. I mean, we can't even communicate with half of the world. Like, like drop me off in Papua New Guinea. I'm not gonna figure anything out. Or
Yeah.
a African click tribe. There's no way. Animals, we can't understand what dolphins are saying. There's never going to be an arrival scenario. So, and also there's never going to be uh, another place that's habitable like Earth.
Well,
Um,
I wonder if just because there's not a lot of oxygen, I wouldn't rule life not being there. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's not impossible.
Like if
There
they
is
have
like
like geothermal vents underneath the
you're
crust
right.
of Europa, because it like I isn't I think here on Earth like in the early days, I don't
Mhm.
think there was a lot of oxygen either. I think that when there was a lot of oxygen, that was like when the Cambrian explosion happened. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Um, I think that yeah, there is some weird stuff in the ocean that somehow survives off like methane, like
Yeah.
weird stuff. So it's still possible, but I guess for some reason, I think it was a New York Times article too. It was like the new Europa report isn't as promising as thought. Here, let me go back up to another story with space. There was a segue there. I lost it. Whatever. Um, what was it? It was a James Webb thing. Okay, yeah, TRAPPIST 1b. This is actually a pretty big discovery. For the first time ever, we have James Webb getting evidence of a planet that is emitting light.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Pretty cool. I mean, it isn't like a city or something. It's UV light first of all, but that's never been documented. I mean, this planet is like super unhospitable. It was like something like 420 degrees Fahrenheit like on the
Oh wow.
surface. So not a place you want to go, but that was pretty exciting when I first heard the headline because I'm like, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? But it's sort of like that Circes or Sirius, the one that has like the really reflective salt crystals. It's sort of like that. We're just seeing, but it is actually emitting something. But yeah, not a place we're ever gonna go. It's probably 500 billion light years away. They always say something ridiculous, and I'm like,
Yeah, and
okay,
by
so
now
that's
we're seeing them from, that many years back. So
right.
like they could
It
be a
is.
civilization right now. We don't know.
It could be a
If
dead
somebody's looking, yeah, if
civilization.
somebody's looking back at us and it's been more than 3 billion years old, they'd be like, oh, it's a molten hot planet. It's still hasn't
Yeah.
crust on it yet. It's kind of interesting to think
I
about.
yeah, it really is. I mean, the whole all of space, I'm confused because it doesn't seem like anyone completely gets it. There's all these. I was reading an article recently. What's his name? Brian Cox,
Hmm.
the guy.
Yeah,
He was
the
he was
English
talking
guy,
about how there's
British guy.
just yeah, he was talking about how some things just the math actually doesn't work out, like with something with expansion and how much dark energy and dark matter there should be, but no evidence of these things. It's all like I'm like, wow, so even the experts just they're like, huh? Um,
I'd rather them say huh and say they don't know than, you know, pretend like they do know, which some of them do, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, it does feel very similar to religion sometimes. Um, this is a wild one, dude. I'm gonna have to read this too because it's a lot of numbers here. In Korea, there's been all these like nuclear fusion experiments, and what they just did is so mind blowing. I mean,
The
it's
the good Korea
Oppenheimer's
or the bad Korea?
the good one, our
Okay.
buddies. Yeah, the Southerners. Those South Koreans. um, so there's a company called K-Star, and
Okay.
they do like super conduction tests with like these tungsten things and stuff. Anyways, they heated up an object to how much was it? 180 million Fahrenheit, so it's a million Celsius for 48 seconds. That's so much hotter than the sun. The core
Very
of the
hot.
sun on Earth, like I'm sure it's a tiny little, it's like a tiny little dot,
Yeah.
but still, it's just I'm imagining the amount of shielding and engineering that like to contain something like this. It just seems like one of those things like Oppenheimer level. Like, are we going to set the atmosphere on fire? Kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's just so crazy. 100 million Celsius, 180 Fahrenheit for that long, 48 seconds. I mean, that's like a huge amount of energy. Um,
And it's called K-Star. The
case,
name sounds like K-pop to me. Like what you call a K-pop singer. Oh, I'm a K-Star.
yeah, that is funny. I didn't think of it that way. Um, so I don't know, man. I just when I think about that compared to like so Earth, core of the Earth, 27 million degrees Fahrenheit, 15 million Celsius, and this is so much more than that on Earth. Just try and wrap your head around that, man.
Yeah. I'm guessing the denser like the atoms are though. Like and you have something
Mm-hmm.
that hot, there's gonna be way more energy in it, right? Because I think they
Right.
say that about like when things get hot, like in space when there's less air pressure. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you go outside and it's like really really hot, but there's like very little air pressure, you're not gonna feel it.
Yeah. Right.
But I don't know if that's related to. I don't know how they're doing this fusion thing.
I
That's
don't
just where
know
my mind
either, and
went.
also I don't even know really like see, I guess they're just trying to like make it stable like for like this specific temperature for as long as possible. Their last test they did 30 seconds. Now they're up to 48. And I think they have goals like to like get over a minute in like the next year or so. But I don't know where this leads. It's
You
the
know what?
thing. I'm like,
I just recently rewatched the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and this sounds a lot like
yeah,
Spider-Man 2, where Dr. Octavius is doing like um there he's coming up with a power source, and it's using nuclear
oh,
fusion.
I remember that now.
Yeah, and it almost sucks in the whole city of New York.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
That's kind of reminds me of that.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Do those old ones hold up? The old Tobey Maguire ones?
Oh, the first two movies, I actually liked them a lot. I'm sure the third one, I didn't like the third one when it came out in theaters, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that one's probably actually I'm sure maybe it's funnier now because I was going in. I know that Bully Maguire, like there's so many like video clips on YouTube where people
Oh,
make fun of it.
yeah. It's one of the
Yeah,
hugest memes. The Spider-Man
the third one.
dancing goofy
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I never I wasn't really attached to those because I didn't like Tobey Maguire. I just like I
Oh.
don't like this guy, and that's like it's hard to like get past that.
Oh yeah,
If you just have
he's
a
pretty cringy. But
yeah,
he plays a nerdy Spider-Man, uh, like a dorky Spider-Man, pretty good though.
yeah, I mean, I think what's his name, the current kid, Andrew Garfield. No,
Garfield,
that's the last one.
Andrew
No,
Gar.
Andrew
No,
Garfield was
you're. Oh yeah,
the
you're
previous
right.
one. Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland. Yeah.
I think he's perfect. I think he's so good. I love those movies the most. I'm very attached to the new Spider-Man. Spider-Man. It's a Jewish Spider-Man. Mistress Spider-Man. That's definitely like a hacky like old like open mic kind of
Yeah.
bit.
If anyone's interested in watching the Spider-Man movies, the old ones, they're on Apple TV. That's how I recently was watching them.
Yeah, I really like those new ones, but I wonder if I went back and saw the old ones, if I would have any maybe feel differently about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm cool with Tobey Maguire now. Probably not. What else we got here, man? Let's see. I did have a no dumb questions for Eclipse talk where I was just gonna ask some dumb questions,
Okay.
but I don't know. I don't think we have an answer for this. I was thinking like, humans are stupid. Every time there's an eclipse, there's like a part of the population that has like permanent eye damage.
Right.
I'm wondering if in the animal kingdom that sort of thing happens. Let's say there's a 5-year-old monkey out there, doesn't know what an eclipse is. Are they gonna like look up and be like, "Oh, I shouldn't do that"? Or are we dumber than animals, or do you think animals go blind during eclipses?
I don't know if I don't think they would. Um, I don't know what would be special about an eclipse for an animal that's not like self-aware. I don't think they're gonna be like, oh,
Hmm.
that's interesting. Like, I think they'd just be like, oh, it's cloudy, you know?
I'm gonna look this up. I wonder if there's a video of like a gorilla like being like, what the heck? Like I don't know. Like I just can't imagine that they're just going about their business eating a banana and they're like, well, that's normal. I mean, it's
Yeah, maybe.
but maybe something about their instincts, like they kind of look in the, ooh, this isn't okay. Maybe I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if humans are dumber than animals, and I think the answer is yes, yes they are. Um, I I don't know. I had some other dumb Eclipse questions, but it's fine. We can keep it moving.
I like
Let's
the idea of like a thought experiment segment where you come up with some thought experiment and be like, I wonder how would this, this scenario.
Okay, let's
I
do
think
a
it's
thought
good.
experiment right now. So I'm thinking about like in the future when Google is obsolete, saying like I'm going to Google that because you just have an AI device that just you trust it. But I'm wondering like how long it's going to take for us to get to that point because I still like prefer to. I don't like to just do Hey Siri, what's this, and trust it. I like to
Yeah.
look at the sources, kind of make sure that like there's a consensus going on. Like I'm getting this AI power. I don't actually need your help. I Siri, I got her attention there. I'm getting this AI device in like a couple weeks that I ordered like
Oh,
at the
what
beginning
was
of
it
the
called
year.
again?
It's called the Rabbit R1.
Okay.
It's
I was gonna
it's
say Jackrabbit, but that's not.
no, this
I'm
is
getting the names
I
mixed
don't
up.
even know I don't even know how it's gonna like function or how it's gonna affect my life or anything, but I'm just still thinking I'm not gonna just use it like just trust it. It's gonna take a long time before I get to that point of being like, oh, I'm gonna
What's
Google
the,
that.
yeah, what exactly do you do with the device? Are you just asking it
I
questions?
I have no idea. I know almost nothing about it except for that it was designed by a company that I really like, and it was $200. I bought it with a payment plan, so when it gets here, it's already paid for. It feels
Yeah.
free. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was just
I've been
cool
using
looking.
AI chatbots a lot for work stuff.
Hmm.
Like if I want to, and I check the sources, but like if I need to do something for work and I need to like write some script to do something to like automate something, I'll look it up and I'll check out, the sources it has, but like it's very good. Like ChatGPT,
Yeah.
it's helped me out a lot. I don't know.
When I was on Twitter, I played with Grok a little bit, more for fun though. But still, it was like, yeah, I don't think I would ever just. I mean, eventually, I guess I'll get
Yeah.
to the point of just being like, kind of like thinking of like a dystopian sci-fi movie where like that movie where you just talk to it and you treat it like it's a friend giving you information. I'm very untrusting of these things. Let's talk about AI a little bit.
Yeah.
So here's one thing: OpenAI and Microsoft are building a $100 billion computer right now. What's that thing gonna do? Like,
I
how
guess.
big is it gonna be?
Huh. They're building a brand new computer just for AI.
The
Is it like one of those
Microsoft.
quantum computers, or they didn't say?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But it. Who knows? But I
Yeah.
mean, are they
I think
building Skynet? Maybe. I mean, like this is crazy, dude. They're building something huge, $100 billion. I looked up to see like what's the next most expensive computer project that's ever been assembled. Nothing near that. You know,
yeah.
it was like 100 billion is like. I mean,
My guess is it's probably not a quantum computer because I don't think they've been able to figure out like they've been able to get quantum computers like to work, but there's no like practical
mm,
application that you can like run with it, I guess, from what I've heard. Like it's more of like,
you
oh,
know what?
theoretically we could do this. It's like, but there,
Right.
you know what I mean? It doesn't really mean much in the real world.
And also it takes like a warehouse, and
Yeah,
the conditions that they have to recreate to make this thing even work. Actually, they'll be better off in the future when we have those orbital reefs and those things up in space, building a quantum computer in space. That'll actually
right.
make a lot more
The
sense. But
microgravity stuff,
yeah,
manufacturing.
all the conditions are right,
Yeah,
but that's a long ways away. But man, I saw that price tag of $100 billion, and it just got me thinking like, what what tasks will it perform? What will it what's it for? I mean, that's just like I don't know. It's one of those stories. There's not a whole lot to say because it's just like it's an announcement.
yeah.
OpenAI, Microsoft, $100 billion computer. That's it. That's the whole story. We're breaking the news, dude. All right, more AI stuff. That's actually this is pretty funny. I have to read this though. This is this is becoming a repeat segment where we make fun of Mayor Eric Adams, New York City mayor, his bad decisions. That dumb robot. I don't like his plans for the migrant UBI. That's kind of weird to me. There was another one we did
Wait. Actually, I
recently.
didn't even know about that. There was a migrant UBI.
They're giving migrants like something like $7,000 like for a family of four like a month. A lot of money.
That's
Yeah.
$7,000. That's
It's
a lot
it's a
of money
crazy amount of
for.
money, and it's also crazy because like they're already giving these people, like places to live, 3 meals a day, free legal counsel so they can get like a path to citizenship, free medical care, um, and now also a credit card or a debit card that has just a bunch of cash on it. It's a pilot program though. It was like it's not going to be something they're going to repeat.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I
think
thought about this.
you told me that Colorado was doing something similar, or Denver was, right? Not that
Weirdly
much,
enough,
but
no, this is very, very strange. Just in the past week, we've almost given up. Like local government, the mayor, Governor Polis, they're basically like, you need to go somewhere else. We just can't. It's not that big of a city.
yeah.
We had so many people come in. It overwhelmed our system so much, and it's strange. It's just I mean I'm like looking out in the corner, so from my window,
Yeah.
that corner right there was a family that was there pretty much 8 hours a day, and with signs and stuff and singing, trying to get money. And then in that corner there was two families right in front of the Whole Foods. All these people are gone. I don't know where they're getting bused to, like Chicago or New York or whatever, but Denver has made the new policy be like, they're like, you got to look
You
elsewhere,
can only
which is very
can't
it's
hold.
a huge
Yeah.
move.
You can only hold so
um
many, right?
I mean, we had so many hotels turned into like migrant shelters, and they're closing three of them like in the next week.
Wow.
There's only one left. They're just saying we just can't do this anymore. I mean, it cost us like $180 million to get to this point, and now they're saying, yeah, we just can't do it anymore. It's so bad, dude. They had to actually cut a bunch of other programs, so they defunded the DMV, which I thought was pretty wacky
They
because it's already
defunded the
such a
DMV.
yeah, I know. I have to go in a couple weeks too. I'm like, it's gonna be a whole day long thing because there's gonna be one guy running the whole department. They defunded the
Yeah.
Parks and Rec department, so usually a lot of people, they put their kids in like these summer programs, like kind of like a daycare thing
Yeah.
or day camp. That program's over, so a lot of parents in Denver are like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my kid this summer. Um, Working parents and stuff, I could see that being a real issue. There's a lot of
Hopefully
money they
there's
had to
like
move
a
around. So like
YMCA summer camp. That's where I'm sending
there's going
Marley
to be
this
some,
summer.
yeah, there'll be something else. There's
Yeah.
some, yeah, definitely United Way stuff, still programs for these people. But Yeah, they had to do a lot. They had to move a lot of money around just to like be like, all right, we want to be a sanctuary city. We want to help these people, but we're just like, I guess we're not a sanctuary city anymore. It's very strange, like that how we almost reversed this plan overnight. Anyway,
Wow.
so in New York City, Mayor Eric Adams made a chatbot called My City. It's powered by Azure. Am I saying that right? The
Az-
Microsoft thing.
Yeah, some people say that, or
Azure,
Azure. I say
Azure,
Azure.
Azure. It's supposed to be like a resource for small businesses. Like in New York City, there's just so much competition and stuff. They made this one chatbot resource so that new small businesses can like get through like the bureaucratic red tape. Getting there, like doing things properly in code and stuff. Okay, but the chatbot is broken, and it's just giving people the worst advice ever. I'm gonna read some of the things the chatbot's telling people to do. All right, it's falsely suggested it is legal for an employee to fire a worker who complains about sexual harassment. That's not okay. Um, falsely suggests that it doesn't disclose a pregnancy or refuses to cut their dreadlocks. Okay, these are all I listed these things out terribly, but apparently, yeah, the people are looking up. Is it okay to fire an employee because they're pregnant or they have dreadlocks, or can I like cover up a sexual harassment thing? And the chatbot's like, that's all good. You just keep on doing it. It's so much bad advice. It gets worse, dude.
Wow.
And then well, actually, that's pretty bad right there. But it's also giving bad advice about other policies in New York. Like, the trash issue in New York is a pretty big deal. Composting is sort of like something you have to do. The chatbot says, don't worry about that. You don't have to compost. It's fine. And also, you can throw black garbage bags anywhere. Just throw them anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's just so strange how and then it starts getting specific. Like they were testing it at this point, being like, oh my God, what kind of crazy stuff is it saying? And then like some restaurants were testing it, and they said, is it okay to serve cheese that's been partially eaten by a mouse or a rat? And chatbot said,
All good.
basically, yeah. It
You're
said,
good to go.
you can still serve it. That's what it said. And then it says, but it is important to address the extent of the damage caused by the rat.
Yeah. That was
It's so
not ready
strange
for
though.
prime time.
Not at all, man. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people probably were like, this doesn't seem right. And then they like did some other reading, but maybe there's some people out there who just like, they just took some bad business advice from a broken robot.
That or they
Azure?
whatever.
Azure.
Yeah, Azure. It's just like a cloud computing thing.
Azure.
But yeah.
I'm not
Um,
familiar with that word. Um,
but yeah, my guess is they did not train the AI to like with the questions like or whatever database they're
mhm,
using of like if they ask this question, respond with this, like that wasn't
yeah,
set up properly, clearly.
for sure. I mean, it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it does seem like it could maybe get people into a little trouble.
Yeah.
Um, a big change I saw too in the Chat GPT world is that you can use it without an account now. So it's just like, which I think is interesting because I feel like part of the experience for it to be like efficient and accurate, it does kind of need to know you, right? I feel like it should be sort of tied to you in a way, right?
Maybe. I've been like I said, I've been using technically ChatGPT, but I've been using it with Bing and I'm not like signed in or anything. I guess maybe
Oh,
I am
okay.
signed in with my Microsoft account, but you don't necessarily have to be, I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe you do.
Some things, personal things, like personalized things, I feel like it would have to know you or like
Yeah.
something
I guess I
about
don't
you.
I
Yeah,
don't I don't ask personal questions usually. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe
it's probably good. Um,
I'm just like asking general questions. It's like a really good search engine that will
mhm.
read through stuff so I don't have to and give me an answer.
um, I don't know. Yeah, I was just thinking like if I just went into like a library, and just like popped on a computer and started. I guess it's as accurate. Some something about it when I read it, I was like, hmm, you're not tied. It's not tied to anything. That's weird. I guess it doesn't matter. I was wrong on that one. Um, so we talked about this, I think, a little bit. That at OpenAI there was like this startup fund, $170 million was in it to like pick and choose other things to invest in, and there was a person who was in charge of this and making the decisions on how to use this money, but that person didn't exist. It was just just a name on a piece of paper. The person that actually was doing it though was Sam Altman, but for some reason he said, "I'm going to have this fake employee be in charge of the startup fund of $170 million." A little bit sketchy. It did remind me also of The Office, another Office reference, of when Jim and Dwight like hit their commission caps. So they make a fake employee to sell more paper so they can keep getting commission. I was like, this is just fraudulent in a way.
Yeah.
But Sam Altman's not in trouble. It's fine. They just found a new guy named Ian Hathaway who's now in charge of the startup fund. The way they just kind of moved right on past that, though, I thought was a
Yeah,
funny way of doing
it does
business.
seem like I mean, I guess if it's not breaking a law, it just seems a little
Yeah,
dishonest to say, "Oh yeah, we had this employee handling this task."
a fake person. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like when
News
Sports
has been,
Illustrated
yeah,
was,
I was gonna say news or
fake.
yeah, Sports
Yeah,
Illustrated is a good example.
fake employees. It's a strange thing. The thing about that Sports Illustrated one though was the level of deception they went to make these seem like real journalists. You know, like when
Yeah.
it had you look at the thing and it's like this article is written by this, and you read his little bio and it's like I enjoy hiking and spending time with my parents, and it's like what you're really investing in the backstory in this fake person. Um, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say to that story. I just thought it was strange. It's a lot of money, and
Yeah.
it does something about it just seems sketchy. But
It seems
who
like you
knows
could
if
be
Ian Hathaway is a real
misleading.
person?
It seems you could be misleading investors. Like
Yeah, for sure.
if you're saying, "Oh yeah, my responsibilities are this person is doing this," but they're not
Right.
real.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Something about it. Something about it just makes me kind of question what really goes behind the scenes of that company. There's been a lot of odd things, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's enough. It's enough AI, open AI talk, and Sam Altman talk and stuff.
Oh, you know what I did?
Maybe
I
we
know I
talk.
said I didn't have any topics, but there was something that kind of related to AI.
Okay.
Bernie Sanders, the 32-hour work week. Did you hear about that? That he's trying to
Uh, I
push.
I think I just heard like
I
the
don't think it's
headline.
gonna
I don't
go.
know.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna
Yeah.
go anywhere. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, that might be a good stepping stone if AI starts taking a lot of jobs. It's like you'll have to hire more people if people are working less. But
32-hour work week.
yeah,
Or
I don't know exactly how it would work, but it's interesting to apparently they've been talking about that since Nixon was president. He was like, and soon we'll have a 30, as productivity increases, we'll switch to a 32-hour work week. Like they've been talking about that for a
mm.
long time and then it never happened. It's like
I wonder what sounds better, 32-hour work week or 4-day work week? Like which sounds kind of cooler.
I think the problem with with just saying a 4-day work week is some people
Mhm.
assume that you're talking about like, oh, you're going to work 10-hour
Oh,
shifts.
mm,
Those that's how currently the 4-day.
right.
But yeah, that is probably what would happen, but hopefully just
Hmm.
still 8-hour shifts.
Right.
But I don't know.
Interesting.
Salaried people, they they don't have that benefit anyways. It's like you work till your job's done. So,
That sucks. I feel bad for people that like, like I see it because I live right across from this big office building, right?
yeah, see the
And
people that
like
work late all the
so I'm
time.
very tuned into like this just their business, their normal corporate schedule. And then I see that one guy up there in his office, and he's there like Saturday night, like 10 at night, and I'm like, oh, that sucks, man. I'm
Yeah.
looking at him I'm like, this one's for you, buddy.
He's probably making really good money, but at the
Yeah,
same
no,
time,
he
it's
probably
like
is. He's
I don't think it's worth it to work that much.
yeah. Oh man. How do you want to wrap this one up? I mean, I guess we should pull something else out of here
Yeah, let's think of another,
for the future. Uh,
and then we can do
maybe.
a quick Snark Tank segment to close this
Oh, I
out.
totally forgot about that game. Um, that's a good closer too. Um, yeah, this one. I mean, I like how this worked out. It was just a video game discussion, but maybe if depending on what the topic is, maybe we can gamify it. All
Mhm.
right, hit me up when you're.
Go now.
Oh. I didn't get
Okay,
anything.
tell me when you're ready and pick something. What do you got?
Huh. Trying to think how we.
I want to know what
Okay,
it
but
is.
so it's
Let's
a
see.
it, I was thinking like how to do this as a game, and then I was like, oh yeah, we could do a pyramid like ranking all the pyramids in a pyramid. um,
We
I
can
guess
talk
we could
about
just talk about.
pyramid schemes. We can talk about
Okay,
MLMs.
that's a good one. Think of some. Let's think of some good scams and some good. Yeah, I like that because I was just gonna say like we're just probably gonna talk about how they were built and stuff.
Tier list
Actually,
on
which
tier
is the
list. That's
thing.
very meta.
I've never cared about that. You know, you hear that like people have to talk about how they were built. I don't care. I'm like with enough slave labor and enough time, you could build anything. But why the heck do it? Like that's such a weird thing to do. I
Yeah.
never care about the. I just want to know not how, but why. All right. Well, yeah, we'll talk about some pyramid schemes and scams, and um, I like that one. All right. Should we do a funny bit on the for an outro, or should we just like be gentlemen and say, "All right, man,
Well,
this was fun."
let's do Snark Tank
Oh,
real
Shark
quick.
Tank.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be
All
real
right.
quick though.
Okay, let me get into character here.
All right.
I don't have a tie handy, but I'll be as professional as possible. Okay, let's go.
Okay. I gotta remember what I was gonna talk about. Okay. Hello, Snark. I would like
Hello.
$100,000 for 20% of my company, WikiLeaks
Okay.
Plumbing.
Okay. All right. Let's go there.
All right.
WikiLeaks
Yeah,
plumbing.
this is a plumbing franchise where we donate a small percentage of the profits to the WikiLeaks Foundation and to Julian Assange. He's actually our mascot for our plumbing
Oh,
business.
okay.
And
Okay.
we take care of leaks, plumbing leaks, any type of leaks.
Okay. All right. How did you start this business? How did you come up with this idea?
Just, being creative with thinking of a name that would fit a business model. I had no experience with plumbing, and I was like,
Okay.
WikiLeaks, I could use that in a plumbing business.
All right. We
Uh,
got to talk about the numbers. Let's hear about those sales. I'm interested, actually.
uh, we're selling our services just fine.
Okay.
I don't have any of the numbers with
Very,
me.
very passionate. All right, tell me this. What would you do if you got an investment to grow the brand and the company?
I'd pay myself a very nice salary and
Okay. So you're only in this for the money.
no, no, I'm also in it for the cause. I'll give a small percentage of the money that you give me.
You know, I want to invest and I want to give you a little bit extra because I am passionate about Julian Assange. And if this is all going to like somehow, I don't know.
I just thought the name was silly. It's
I'm
like
not crying. I'm
WikiLeaks
not
plumbing.
crying. It just my eye just watered up for
Yeah,
some
yeah.
weird
Julian
reason.
Assange. He's being extradited right now. I understand why you're emotional. It's okay.
No, I'm just passionate about your company. I mean, your vision is my vision, sir. Or I don't have to call you sir. I'm the shark. Snark. I'm the snark. All right, I'll give you a deal. I like
All
it.
right, perfect.
I think the name got me. I was like, where is
WikiLeaks
this going?
plumbing.
All right.
Dude,
You have any more investments for me?
I just have one more. All right.
Okay. All right.
Next investment. I'm asking for 50,000 for half the company. Uh,
Okay. I like
it's a
these numbers.
social media website app for gay gamers. It's called Gaymers.
Can you spell that like
G A Y N
Gaymers?
E R S. Yeah.
Okay. I see that there's a market for this. I've
I
played a lot of video games and people use the F word on there a lot. So I'm assuming there's a lot of gay people in the video game world.
It's a safe place
Uh,
for the LGBTQ plus IA. What's the? You can tell I've done a lot of research with this.
there's a 2S. It ends in 2S now. Two Spirit. Um, okay, so let's talk about this. You want 50,000 for half the company?
Yeah, we're this is more big picture right now, so I need funding to develop the app and um, acquire
So it's an idea.
customers.
You're selling me an idea. You're not selling me an actual product or brand or company.
I'm selling you an idea.
I like the idea
I
though.
do have some patents on it, pending,
Okay.
patent pending.
Oh, honey. Oh, my eyes are watering again. I don't know what's up with me. These ideas you have, they just
They just make you so emotional.
I know it's really weird though. My right eye keeps like kind of like twitching and watering.
Do we have a
No.
deal?
I want to ask a couple of follow-up questions on this though. Is there any kind of are you giving anything to the community? Like, is there
We're
kind of a
giving them a safe
humanitarian?
place to be gay and
They
game.
get they get the app. They don't get like they don't get any money. It's not like Tom's, like for every.
We could talk about it. We could. I'm open to that.
Okay, so every person that gets on the app, they get a free pair of shoes, like Tom's. We'll do the Tom's model. Yeah, I'll give you the money. I think this is
This is the best Snark Tank episode I have ever had. Wow. I'm sorry I came
you're a
across
millionaire
as
now.
like very, self-centered in the WikiLeaks plumbing. I was like, I'm just gonna pay myself.
It's fine. I take the money and run too, dude.
Yeah. That's actually why I decided to go with the franchise route for it, because I want to sell the business idea to other people so that I
Mhm.
get money back and I don't have to do anything.
I think we're going to be talking about one of your companies next week on our pyramid scheme
Which
special.
one?
The pyramid scheme.
Oh, oh.
Oh, I don't know. It just sounds a little
Oh,
scary
yeah,
what you're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
here. No, I'll invest in both. I like the ideas. I like the names. I think that I like the names. I'm a sucker for a good name.
Yeah.
Usually that's how these work too, is I come up with the name and then I reverse engineer something behind it just so I can say the name.
Yeah, that's exactly this week is like I was like I couldn't think of anything. I'm like, all right, what's something I can use
Let's
with
think
a
of
weird name?
let's think of some
WikiLeaks.
puns.
Yeah.
Some puns and then pretend it's a business.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what the name of the game is.
Yeah.
All right. Next week on Snark Tank, I'll be doing the exact same thing. I've got some dumb ones. All right.
All right.
All right. Well,
That wraps it up.
yeah, I'm cool with leaving it there.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good solar eclipse.
Yeah. Have a good Eclipse Day.